Welcome to episode 2 of the America is Burning podcast. Today we're going to be discussing the difference between equity and equality. In the media and across the public at large, really, the terms are used interchangeably. But they don't mean anything near the same definition. Socialchange.co.uk actually defines this difference a little bit for us when they say the difference between equality and equity must be emphasized. Although both promote fairness, equality achieves this through treating everyone the same regardless of need, while equity achieves this through treating people differently dependent on need. So equality says everyone should be treated the same. Regardless of what people need, everyone should have the same opportunities. Sounds fairly common sense. Equity means that you treat people differently dependent on need. So people should get special treatment based on what they need. That doesn't sound very fair. It doesn't sound very equal, but the media will often say that racial inequality or gender inequality or wealth inequality or inequity is an issue. Equity itself is an issue. Equity is not about fairness. The terms sound good, right? At face value, they look good. But look a little deeper. I'm sure you've seen the baseball game meme that compares equity and equality, where you see three people of varying heights trying to watch a baseball game, and each one on the equality side, each one has one crate, but only the tallest person can see over the fence to watch the game. On the equity side of the image, the first man has no box, the second has one box, and the third person has two boxes. And now magically they can all see the game, and unicorns fly through the air and glitter falls from the sky, the whole bit. Everyone is happy, right? Because everyone gets to see the game. This is simplistic, it's minimalistic, and it's a reductive argument. This completely ignores things like merit and effort. First of all, if you want to see the game, go buy a ticket. All right? Start with that. Don't steal from these poor, helpless, billionaire baseball team owners. They desperately need that money. No, what you're saying with this argument is that the ends justify the means. No matter how hard somebody worked to carry that crate to the fence, they should just hand it over willingly to someone. Just because, well, they should be able to see too. What if that person just sat outside the fence all day? They made no effort. They didn't have to walk there. They didn't have to carry anything. They may not even have known there was a game going on that day. They just happened to turn around and went, oh, hey, look at that. Would be nice to be able to see over the fence. And people who worked hard and carried something that far, they're just supposed to hand it over willingly because that's what's fair. Why don't we look at something a little bit more realistic? Something that really shows what equality and equity are all about. Let's say two people are getting ready to have a 100-yard dash. They're going to race. One guy has spent his entire life training. He runs every single day. He eats right. He's turned his body into an athletic machine. The other guy sits on his couch. He eats chips all day. He watches other people run on TV and he complains about it. Says, they don't know what they're doing. I could run better than they do. But he hasn't run since they've stopped forcing him to run in gym class. Equality says that these two men had the same opportunities to train. They had the same opportunities to eat right, so that they should start from the same spot, and whoever reaches the end first is the person who wins. Hard work creates accomplishment. Sounds fair, and the sports fan in me says that that's how the world works. The people who put the work in, get the spoils, right? To the victor goes the spoils. The equity argument says that because one guy is by far a superior athlete, then the guy who sat on his couch and ate chips should get a 75-yard head start in a 100-yard dash, just so that he's got a fair chance of finishing at the same time or ahead of the guy who put all the work in. Rule changes dictate the outcome. Equity. The root word there is equal. What's equal about taking away from the guy who worked hard? That first guy who put all that work in, he got up every morning at 4 a.m. and he went and ran 5 miles. Who didn't eat the good Easter dinner, right? Instead, he had a small salad and a piece of chicken because he wanted to make sure that he toned his body to make sure that he was ready for this race. That guy should be punished because everything should be equal on the outcome. This is why the argument for equity is dumb. And I hate to reduce it that much. I know my own argument here is reductive. I said that, the baseball meme was reductive. This is intentionally reductive as well. I want you to notice the parody. It's all about framing. This is what our government and our media does to us. They frame everything from the standpoint of you don't have X because someone else has Y. You don't have money because the billionaires out there have all the money. They take from you. You don't have opportunity because someone else is a different race and they have all the opportunity. It's not your fault. Someone took it from you. What this does is reduce everyone to a collection of traits. You're white or you're black. You're man or you're woman. You are rich or you're poor. Everything is in one of two categories. It divides us. It's what the media does to us. It's what the government does to us. They divide us so that we fight each other. No one should automatically be handed anything in the interest of ending up in the right spot. Should everyone have the opportunity to start on a level playing field? 100%. You will have no disagreement from me on that, and quite frankly, from anyone reasonable. Everyone should have equal chances to succeed. Life is not fair. Some people are naturally disadvantaged to others. Some people are born into money. Others are not. I personally was not. I wasn't born into money. Heck, most times I live paycheck to paycheck. I understand how that works. But I'm not out blaming Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm not blaming people like Trump for it either. It's not about the haves and have-nots. I realize that every day I wake up in this country, I have the same opportunities that everybody else does. Now, I might have to put a little bit more work in because I don't have the starting position that they did. That's fair. All right. Equality isn't perfect. I'm not saying that everyone is equal. Class is real. What we strive to do in America is to create the most level playing field possible, to give everyone the closest to the same opportunity as we can humanly do. Some people have more resources. They had a better school to attend. Maybe they had more helpful or more well-equipped parents that can help them out and get them started in life. Maybe they had a better after-school program to help them through. Maybe they lived in a neighborhood that had a better gymnasium that they could practice in, and others were forced to just go to the local park. Yeah, life is not fair. I hope this isn't news to you. See, equity fails because it assumes that everybody put the work in. Some people happen to be lazy. Some people think the world owes them something and should just hand it to them. Nothing should be handed to you. Some people start a little further back economically. That happens. But we try to remove the barriers and try to make everything as equal as we can. Race is not the determining factor in where you start. If you think it is, you're not a social justice warrior. You're not helping the situation. You are a racist. Plain and simple. Race doesn't determine opportunity. Class determines opportunity, and work ethic determines opportunity. You might have one, you might have both, or you might have neither. That's what determines where you go next. People that live in poverty tend to have to work harder to dig out of their situation. That much is 100% true. But those same people tend to have a stronger work ethic. Go read any biography of anyone who came from nothing. People who started out poor and did something great with their life. What they will tell you, I promise you, from end to end, you will not hear about how some magic fairy came and dropped a pile of money in their lap and everything made it work. No, what you will read is variations of the same story. I was told I couldn't do it. I was told it would never happen. I pushed, I worked, I put my nose to the grindstone, and I made it happen on my own. That story, forget Beauty and the Beast, that's the tale as old as time. That is the American dream. That's what people got on a boat and traveled 6 months across an ocean with nothing but the clothes on their back to get here for. That American dream is what created lives here. That's why people were proud to come here. People who are born into it, people who are born with means, obviously they have an easier path. But they also tend to have a weaker drive to succeed. They don't need to succeed because they already have. How many stories out there are the children of these incredibly rich human beings that are complete stains on society because they were never asked to work. Because they were handed everything on a silver platter, they never put the work in to do anything with their lives. They don't need personal success because they know they can live off of the money that was handed to them from the beginning. That's their cross to bear. That's why often they don't do great things in life. The pull yourself up by your bootstraps types, those are the ones that do something. They create the opportunities for themselves. There are these celebrity children out there of all different races. Don't try to tell me that they don't have opportunities to be successful. You know, you've got people like Will Smith's children. Will Smith worked hard for his money and he created an empire for himself, and good on him. All right. From everything I've read, he seems to be a wonderful human being. His children have more privilege than someone growing up in a trailer park in Iowa. It isn't about the race. It's about wealth and work ethic. So when we talk about racial inequities, what those people are saying is that one race is inherently superior to another. You know what that sounds like to me? Racism. No one race is above the other. You know, maybe you guys should go back to 4th grade social studies, because I'm pretty sure that's where that was covered when we talked about things like Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement. It's why we have the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Everyone was intended to have the same opportunity. You know, do racists exist? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. They exist. Are they as prevalent as the media or the internet wants you to believe they are? Absolutely not. Racial problems in this country are mostly manufactured. I promise you, go look up a news story right now. Go look at CNN, go look at MSNBC, go look at Fox News, go anywhere, okay? Go look at the media. And what you're going to see often, more often than not, is something racist. I just read the other day that they're going to spend something like $20 billion in Biden's infrastructure plan to wipe out highways because the highways are racist. The highway is racist. Not too long ago, Aunt Jemima's syrup was racist. Uncle Ben's rice somehow is racist. You know what? Just Google search something. Literally type is and then any word you want, racist. I promise you someone's going to say it is. It's about division. These media conglomerates want us divided. They want us to pick a side, because when we pick a side and we get tribalized, all we end up doing is following their narrative. We live in fear. We buy things. We buy things that we don't need. We click on stories that confirm our thoughts. That's why they can write 17 variations on the same story, and we are stupid enough to continue to click on it because we want a confirmation bias. Oh, they're saying what I already know to be true. I knew I was right. I knew the rest of the world was wrong. We're so busy fighting each other, we don't have time to fight the real enemy. The real enemy, the real oppressors, are the people who started this rhetoric. They're the people who tell us constantly that we need to be fighting each other. They're the people who point the finger and say, those guys over the fence, those are the bad guys. That's why every time a Democrat disagrees with anyone, that's why they're instantly a Proud Boy or a QAnon supporter. And that's why every time a Republican disagrees with someone, they're a communist or a socialist. It's because the establishment does not want us to have rational conversations with each other. They don't want liberals and conservatives to sit down in the same room and have a logical conversation, because I promise you, more often than not, you agree more than you disagree. Some of my best friends in the world are liberals. I am not. I am very heavily conservative. But when we sit down and have conversations, we definitely disagree, but we disagree respectfully. And we have long conversations, and we find that quite often what we disagree on is nuanced. It's not that we're night and day different. It's not that either one of us is evil. It's not that either one of us are wrong. We just differ on opinion and nuance. But the establishment doesn't want us to have those conversations. They want us to keep thinking of ourselves as white or black, man or woman, or one of the other 137 genders that now exist. But that's a topic for another time. As much as I dislike the entire ideology of communism, their one saving grace that they have is their logo. That communist fist, right? That fist is a logo for a reason. Many people don't know the story behind it. So the idea is that a hand is weak because each finger can be individually broken. And on its own, a finger does very little damage. However, when you take that same hand and you ball those fingers into a fist, you can create a mighty weapon. The fist, the fingers cannot be easily broken because one protects the other. And the fist can do far more damage than a single finger could. Stronger together. That's the motto. So why does everyone want us divided? Why does the media want us to pick a side? Why do politicians want us to pick a side? Because then we stay in our little places and we don't fight back. If we're so busy fighting each other, we spend zero time thinking about our vote and the people we vote for and the leadership qualities that they possess. If we spend all of our time fighting each other, we go into the voting booth and we vote for our tribe and we go home and forget about it until the next election. And the winning politicians take their seats in Congress or the presidency or wherever. And for the length of their term, they don't have to be accountable to us. They don't have to do anything because there's no recourse until it's time for re-election. And then about a year and a half before re-election comes, Suddenly, these politicians care again. Then everything becomes posturing. Then they need to motivate their base quickly and get all the photo ops in, kiss all the babies, shake all the hands, and, own the cons or own the libs, right? They don't want you to recognize that you are merely a pawn to get them in the chair that they want. They use us and we let them. For every Rand Paul who goes out and votes his conscience, regardless of the way that, it will affect him politically, there's 100 others that only cast a vote that their base cares about when it's time for re-election. That's the sad state of affairs we have. Color is not the enemy here. Race is not the enemy. Even though people sometimes start out from different places, even class is not your enemy. Our real enemy are the people who seek to divide us. The people that tell us that we're not good enough. Those that say that someone else is taking our power. It's time to wake up. America is burning. Stop fanning the flames. Thank you for checking out the America is Burning podcast. Please feel free to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe. Definitely share this with a friend and help get the word out. And I'll see you next time.